Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another variant dungeon guide. This clears all of the paths, all 12 of them added in 6.45 to the new variant mode, Mount Rokkon. This features all 12 with timestamps for you to just get straight there and out. Then after that, we'll do a mount preview. So without further ado, let's look at path number 1. Starting left to right then through the dungeon, we're going to be choosing left. When we come to the statue segment, we are going to touch the orb immediately. Instead of touching any of the statues, leave those alone, just touch the orb and then go through. When you get past the next few packs of mobs, you'll find an open sword case on a table. This is where you will actually click on the case, this will examine the sword and it will close the box. Then simply proceed throughout the rest of the dungeon, clearing mobs, and fight the last boss, and you will get the first path completed. For the second path then, basically the same principle. We're going left, we're ignoring those statues again, we're touching the orb immediately, and as you probably would have guessed, when we get to the sword case, we're going to leave that alone. We're not going to touch anything. Then we defeat the boss, and that is path number 2 completed. For the third path, we're going left again, and when we get to the statues, this time the one on the left, which is the Phoenix statue, we're going to turn that twice. So click and wait for it to move, click again, and we're done that side, and then the dragon we turn once. So 2 phoenixes, 1 dragon, so 2 left, 1 right, and then what we do is we proceed further on into the dungeon. Once we come to the second pack of mobs after this, there's actually a water sprite called the Upper. What we need to do on this path, the third path, is to let it cast water 3. And in this case as well, we're going to leave the spirit until last. So we're going to single target down the other 2 monsters, while all of the other monsters is more than 2. And we're going to leave the Upper until last and then take that one down. We are not interrupting the water 3 cast. We want to do this so that she actually takes out all of the lanterns, douses the flames, so to speak, and then we go on, kill the final boss once again, and this time we will be rewarded with path 3. For the fourth path on the left side then, we need to go to the statues. We turn the Phoenix twice. We turn the dragon once, exactly the same as path 3. And then this time around, when we come to the wave spirit, what we're going to be doing is killing that first. So this is where we're stopping it from casting water 3. With high DPS, you can just burn it before you even see the water 3 being cast, but you can always bring an interrupt and interrupt it that way as well. But make sure you kill that first. For some reason, if you don't kill in the specific order, sometimes it can mess up, as I've heard on various forums and Reddit. So make sure that it doesn't cast water 3 and you will be able to proceed, kill the last boss, and that is route 4 completed. For route 5 then, we move on to the middle path. This is very simple, just go as far as you want. You can pull the rope if you want, it doesn't really change much, just one of the side paths. You've still got to kill through all the enemies. Simply go up and do not kill the monkey. That's all you have to do. Just proceed on foot all the way through and do not kill the monkey. Right, so when you get a dialogue option, choose to spare his life, and that's as simple as that. In fact, by doing that, you actually gain an extra treasure chest as well. And then for route 6, you probably would have guessed this one as well, adversely to route 5 is kill the monkey. So this time choose the option think for a while, and then the monkey will take that time and opportunity to assault you, kill the monkey, and that's route 6 if you continue and kill the last boss. Route 7 then is a little bit different. Basically, we go and we do the jump puzzle in the room after the tiger. we do the jump puzzle, so we jump up all of the boxes, and then after we get to the top, we will then pull this rope. Once we pull this rope, we can then proceed all the way through the new path that opens to the usual last boss and clear it. That will be Route 7. At this point, there is also another middle path, but we're going to leave that until later. Now for Route 8, we are going on the right path. Now we're going to ignore this thing in a tree called a dogu. It's a statue. We're going to ignore that completely, just walk past it. It's cursed. Don't worry about it. Then as we go up this left side path, you'll find all of these stones of protection. They'll be in white text. You want to click on these to polish them. There should be, I think, 4 in total. Just make sure you click on each one of those, and that's all you have to do. Then clear that last boss, and that's Route 8. For Route 9, we ignore the Dogu statue when we don't want any of that magic, and then we polish no stones, so simply the choice of doing nothing, then clearing the last boss, and that's Route 9. For Route 10 then, we go on the right path, we grab the Dogu doll, so we just simply click on that to loot it. And then as we go up, it will open up a new path on the right side. After this sort of area, you'll find a shrine. Hancock sort of just stands at the back. What we can do is / Eastern Bow or /E bow at this shrine. This will actually open the shrine. It will actually physically react to your presence and Eastern bowing. Then you place the doll inside the shrine. Then a tree will appear, like the magical tree will grow again as if it was dead, and you go up here, kill some mobs, and then when you get the choice of either knocking down a rock or a tree, you knock down the rock. If you click the rock and that falls, that is Route 10 if you kill the boss. Route 11 then is basically exactly the same as 10, so we Eastern bow at the shrine. After we've grabbed the doll, we take the doll, we put that in the shrine, and then what we do is we go and we choose to knock down the tree instead. Before we knock down a rock, we're knocking down a tree. Then clear the last boss and you'll get Route 11 completed. And the reason we left Route 12 till last is because it has a completely different boss. So for Route 12, you go down the middle path, and then you do the jump puzzle after the tiger. At this point, you're going to the top of this, on the jumping puzzle, there'll be a rope. You pull this rope, right? And then some lantern mobs will spawn. The rope opens the door so Hancock can get up here. That's all that's for. And then what you want to do is mark these lanterns up 1, 2, and 3, okay? And then look below where you just came from and you'll find a lantern in front of a tapestry. There should be 3 lanterns in front of tapestries and 1 lantern that is not. The idea is that you put your, mark them A, B, and C. You want to put your 1 next to the A and so on. So what you do is you aggro them, bring them downstairs, don't go crazy, do not AoE them, and then what you want to do is get everybody who's in there to stand on top of that first lantern so that the mob that you're going to be killing is facing it. When one of those lantern mobs die, they actually do an AoE cone in front of them. This will actually ignite the lantern if it's within range. That's why we're stacking together. So the idea is you pull one, you kill it, and then it will do an AoE after it dies in that direction. You then go do the next lantern and then the next lantern. If you do all 3 of those lanterns correctly, all of the lanterns will suddenly burn bright red. In fact, the lantern that was on its own away from the tapestries will suddenly burn bright red as well, and that signifies that we're going to have access to another boss. Hancock will interact with that final lantern, and then a new portal will open, and we get sucked into this last area. Like I say, this is where that last boss is. But basically, what you would do is go down there, you would defeat that boss. There's a lot of lore that we won't talk about here. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to show that. And essentially, that's how you get entry 12 completed. Very cool. The boss itself isn't that difficult, in my opinion. I think that the Sildan Subterrane secret boss was a lot harder. But there we go, that's just my opinion. So those are all 12, and at this point you should get your achievement. You actually need to leave a dungeon, and then you can claim the mount from the achievement panel itself. Now we're on to the part of the video where we get to look at the lantern. Alrighty then, the exciting bit, looking at the mount, or at least that's the exciting bit for me. So this then is the Bura Bura Choshin, and it says, summon forth your Bura Bura Choshin, a kindred spirit in wandering. Contrary to expectation, this lantern ghost did not care to haunt people, and was content to simply wander Mount Rokkon. When it saw you similarly wandering, it took you for a kindred spirit and decided to follow you wherever the wind should blow. This is a great mount. I am very happy to have this in my collection. Let's hear what it sounds like then when we summon it. like a giggle. Not quite Kafka. I like the sort of spoon sound when it despawns as well. Fantastic. So as you can see, this puts your character inside the actual mount itself. It really is something. I don't know why it seems so nostalgic to me. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've just looked at Aramans and things like that in these video games for so long, but it gives me huge yokai vibes, and that's obviously the route they're going with. This lantern has beautiful luminosity. We have some footage I'll show you right here in the nighttime where it's really glowing in the horrible rain as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mount. I don't know, you might disagree. This mount also seems to scale with the size of your character. I mean, not that you can properly tell that here because my friend is an Aura, so it's slightly smaller, but I would imagine that the Lalafell one is considerably smaller, but obviously I don't know anyone that has a Lalafell that has completed this yet to show that off, and I'm not about to go and do this on my alt just yet. But yeah, this mount then, very pretty. I do like it. It's got this kind of like weird ring thing at the top because it's part of a lantern, obviously, and the lantern is torn open with the tongue sort of falling out there, and our character inside. Our character can actually do emotes inside here like it can on the back of any other mount, right? Anything that would be available to be done inside a mount or on a mount will work with this one as well, which includes things like wow and cheering and all that other stuff. And yeah, typical restrictions apply. One of the things then is, what does it look like when it moves around? Well, it floats across the floor in terrestrial format, and when we take to the sky with a jingle of its loop and ring, we have it flopping around. Its glide animation, as you can see, its eye, sort of eyebrow on its mono eye is sort of covered down a little bit. It has this slight angle as it flies, and the tongue flaps around happily, and then it toggles between its glide animation where it goes back and forth to its bobbing up and down animation as we hit the wall there. But yeah, it's a really, really nice mount. I'm very happy, like I say. I think this, arguably, is a better mount than the other one from Isildur Subterrane. You might disagree, but yeah, it's very nice. So the other question you might have is, does it have any mount music? Oh boy, and I haven't checked yet, so we're going to find out together. It is the Kugane music, I think. I'm pretty sure this is the flute version of the Kugane theme. Oh, it's like the orchestrion, like the orchestral version? Piano? No, it's the piano version, isn't it? That is absolutely beautiful. You know what? I'm not even angry at that. That is absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy that they've put something that isn't just generic mount music on here, because it surely deserves it, and obviously the effort that you go through to actually obtain it, like with every other mount from the variant modes. I personally like the variant and criterion system. I think it's great. I do think that the Savage version needs better rewards than it currently has. A lot of criticism has been heard, I believe, by the Square Enix team, and I hope they continue to listen and change that into the future, because I think there's probably not enough to keep people going apart from one mount and some materia. It's not very great. But anyway, we'll look at the other rewards in future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully the guide portion of this video was helpful, and hopefully you have no problems going through there and smashing some bosses. If people do want, I can do a follow-up on some of the bosses and do a bit of a boss guide, but that'll be done later on. I do have the footage for it, but it depends if there's any demand for that or not. Anyway, much love, enjoy the rest of your day, and I and Mr. Blinky here. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Blah, 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 blah. Whee! Now to go scare some people. Or lick them to death, right?